Hey everyone. So I haven't posted for a couple days, and it's because I've really been not struggling, but there's just something that's been on my mind a lot lately. And it really comes down to mental health in the blogging world. And nobody ever talks about mental health, and nobody ever talks about the toll that running an online business can take on you. And when you start a blog, you work on it like crazy and you have like this obsession and you go at it so hard for so long, and then you just kind of burn out, or like the worry and the fear and the what if start to like creep in. And so I think it was recently that Nina Clapperton mentioned that she had been going through a rough time. And I know Miles Beckler, he always talks a lot about moving past your fears. And so we kind of dabble a little bit into like the whole mental health thing, but we don't really deep dive into it and what we can do to recognize it and how we can try to overcome it and kind of fix it. So today we're going to talk about, it's a pretty big one. It's imposter syndrome, and I'm sure you've heard it about it before. So let's kind of look and see what exactly imposter syndrome is not, and what it is, and how to really overcome it. Now, recently, and I sign up for so many different like newsletters and emails from people, so I can't remember exactly where I saw this one, but they were talking about that most people believe that like imposter syndrome happens at the beginning of the online journey. Like just when you're about to start a project and you have like self-doubt and fear, and how these are really roadblocks to starting and really being afraid to fail. But that's not really what imposter syndrome is. And just a little side note there, if you are starting an online journey, you don't have to be an expert in your niche. All you really need to be is 1 to 2 steps ahead of the average person that would be looking for these answers. And you actually come across as more relatable, understandable, and have a better idea of where your target audience is at because you've been there. So you don't have to have like a PhD or a master's in something to be able to teach people about it. You just need to be 1 to 2 steps ahead of them. Now, here is the actual definition of imposter syndrome from the Oxford Dictionary, and it's the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of their own efforts or skills. So, right there, that definition clearly shows that it has a timing, that it indicates you must have seen some success in order to feel it. So, it's definitely not something that starts at the beginning. Okay. So, really, you're already in the thick of it and you're starting to see some movement with your business or your blog. And then imposter syndrome creeps in. And success could be really anything. It could be number of page views, it could be ad revenue, it could be affiliate income, or even like direct sales of your own products. And it's not just blogging, it can be in e commerce as well, because I've been on the e commerce side with Etsy for a long time. And trust me, you just wake up one day and go, holy crap, I have 500 sales and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Why are people buying from me? And then whoa, okay, we'll get into that. But anyway, so but it could also be a time frame. Like you could be blogging for 6 months to a year, and that could be your success moment, because in reality, people quit so soon. I mean, it takes a lot of work without a lot of reward, or even to know if what you're doing is good, for like 6 months to a year. So, let's kind of go a little deeper in here. Now, how in the world do you even know? What are the signs of imposter syndrome? Well, the big one is I'm not qualified. Like I'm a nobody. Why would you listen to me? The other one is, oh, I just got lucky. I don't know what I'm doing. I just got lucky. I stumbled into this. I have no clue what I am doing. And another one is just anxiousness, like anxiety about your business or your blog. A big one is not hitting other people's milestones. Now, I love to see everybody's journey. And there are people out there like Matt Diggity and John Dykstra who have huge success. I mean, they make just thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And, you know, to be able to see a profit, in less than 6 months, that's not really the norm. If you are brand new to blogging, you know, you may not make anything for 6 months to a year. I think in my first year total, I maybe made $150. And we've got to understand that when you see these income reports where people are making like 2,000 or 10,000 or $30,000 a month, this is not really the norm. And what I mean by that is they are kind of the top 1%ers. And a lot of times, those blog income reports, that's not their first blog. Their first blog could have been 15, 10 years ago, but this is how they've improved and they've learned over the years and from their failures. And now they have a blog that makes that much money, but they had to go through a whole bunch of blogs that may not have made so much money. And, you know, I'm I'm in this about a year and a half and I haven't even hit $500 a month yet. So do I give up because I see other people making $2,000 a month at this point? Like, since I'm not there, am I just obviously not doing it right? And that's when you really got to look at self comparison to other people and how is that affecting your mental health? Another big one is perfection. Like we get so stuck on like everything has to be perfect. Or one that I think is really difficult is paralysis, where you have lots of ideas, but you just cannot make up your mind and you cannot focus and you just stand still and you don't move. So let's go even further on this. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that we barely ever cover this, and we sometimes mention what it is, but how exactly do you overcome this imposter syndrome where you feel like maybe you don't deserve your success, or you just got lucky, or you're just so anxious about the next step, or do I have to do all the things? Like, am I not going to be successful if I don't have an email list, if I don't send weekly newsletters, if I don't have this or that, or if my homepage is not perfect? Like, how do we get over this? So, the last couple months, my my main blog has really started to just jump. And you can't help it. There's just moments where you start really wondering like, did I get lucky? I mean, who am I? I'm a nobody. Like, why would you listen to me? And we really have to look at the timeline. We have to go back to the very beginning and look at everything we've learned and overcome to this point. And you could be a year and a half into this, you could be 6 years into this. Whenever these doubts start to really come into your brain, you need to look at what all have you done. Like I've told you many times, I am not tech savvy at all, but hey, I have literally been figuring it out as I go, and I have learned way more than I thought I could because I was actually terrified of starting a blog because I am not tech savvy. What if it breaks? What if I break it? How does it break? I don't even know. And the other thing is, we really need to focus on real numbers, not vanity metrics. And we get stuck on thinking like, oh, my bounce rate has got to be perfect. Well, GA4 came along and that's not really a thing anymore. Or, you know, my pages per session is not very high. Really, we need to look at truly, and I think this is what the whole GA4 thing is about, is engagement. Like, are people coming to your page? Are they reading it? Are they clicking on other things to learn more? Do you just have one article that's doing well? Do you have multiples that are doing well? You really kind of need to look at where you started and how far you've come and where you're at right now. Number two, we've got to start normalizing just talking it out. And it could be with a spouse, a friend, a family member. It could be with a random stranger on a bus. It really doesn't matter. We just have to have a real, honest conversation about our feelings, but we also have to remember to listen to the other person. And when I did this recently, and I'm betting that most people do this, you'll probably find out that these other people that you talk to, they are so impressed with what you have accomplished. And to give you an idea, so I go to the post office regularly, and there's pretty much always the same two ladies that work there because it's a very small town. And they're always asking, "So what are you up to?" Da, da, da. And I'm, kind of a chatty person sometimes. So we always talk about like my kids and life in general. And I started mentioning one time, I was like, "Oh my God, I've got a blog and I'm doing stuff." And now it's so funny because when I go in there, they're like, "How's it doing?" Like, they remember those months when I only made $12, and they're like so impressed that, you know, slowly but surely now it's making $400 a month. And they tell me that when I talk about it, and like when I explain what I'm working on, they say like my whole, face lights up. I'm excited to talk about it. And they're like, there's no imposter there because you enjoy what you're doing. And I think that right there, hearing someone else reflect back to you what you put out can be very eye opening. This one kind of goes back to the comparing milestones. And I was guilty of this. I used to have the timeline for the income school. They hadn't updated in forever, but I still had like their basic timeline. And I would just occasionally, oh, I'm 9 months in. Let me go look and see where I'm supposed to be at 9 months. And then I would look and see that I was supposed to be making X number of dollars. And I'm like, whoa, I'm so far away from that. So obviously everything I'm doing is wrong. But there really isn't a timeline for this because every niche is different, every blog is different, everybody's approach, whether you follow a system, a course, anything, it there's so many variables, there's no way to give you a true timeline of this. And so too often we just brush it off as, oh, it's expected I was going to hit 12,000 page views. That's not a big deal. That's just normal. And in reality, you built something that got 1,000 page views, or you wrote an article that's now ranking number one. It doesn't matter how small or big they are great things. And so celebrate them. Go get a cupcake, take a day off, spend with your kids, do a happy dance, whatever it is, just take a moment and just truly reflect. I did something, and that's pretty awesome. And, with blogging and online businesses, it's a long freaking road. You don't start it, instantly start making money, and then just keep dabbling in it. Like, you've got to start with like one Lego block and you got to keep adding and adding. And it may take a very long time for anyone else to be able to see what you're building. And it's just, you've got to realize, I mean, you're like laying literally the foundation, and it takes a while. But once again, you got to focus on the numbers that matter. And I like to focus on numbers that I control. That's things like, how many blog posts did I get up? Did I do a project? What did I do? Not necessarily the page views coming in or affiliate sales or ad revenue, because I can't control those. I can't control how much my RPM is going to be, as much as I would love to, have no control over it. But I do control what content I put out there. So I focus on that. I set a goal, and if I hit that goal, I am happy dancing. Now, along the lines of comparison, is that now before we go any further, just remember there's a very famous quote, and it's very true. Comparison is the thief of joy. You're going to feel less joy if you're constantly comparing it to somebody else's joy. So I I like to see everybody else's success and what they do, and really the parts that I love is seeing their how their brain thinks, like How do they pivot? What's their strategy? What's their attack method? Because I'm trying to see if that's something that I can implement. Ooh, that's something different. I didn't know that. Like, I'm constantly wanting to see not just your numbers, but like what's your plan? And we get stuck in this thing where we have to be perfect. And that could be while we're writing a post, while we're taking images, while our core web vitals, our speed, the design of our homepage. All these things don't have to be perfect. And I can tell you right now that I take pictures on my little Android phone, and sometimes they're not even fully like beautiful focused pictures, but they get the job done. And I think they show other people this is a real photo. This is a photo that I would text you to show my friend. And everything doesn't have to be perfectly curated and look like you are running $1 million blog. It just has to get the helpful information out there. Now, here's the kicker. We want to celebrate those successes, but we don't want to confuse our self-worth with our accomplishments. And what I mean by that is that even though those successes were awesome and we were excited, it's impossible to always be successful. No one runs a business, a blog, an online anything and gets it right 100% of the time. When we do fail or not meet a goal or an expectation, that does not define who we are and our value. And hopefully, just like I teach my kids, that every time we don't get what we want, it's a chance to learn and grow. And we've got to fail in order to grow, because without failure, we rarely try to overcome barriers and push through. And I tell my kids all the time that we all make mistakes. It's not, you don't wake up one morning and go, that's it. I did all my mistakes, no more. We make mistakes every day. And you can make them in your business. You can do tons of stuff. But the thing is, we've got to learn from those mistakes. We've got to see, we got to basically recognize that that was a mistake. Like putting my call to action button there just did not work. I lost my affiliate sale. You've really got to pinpoint what it was, learn from it, and then hopefully not do it again, or maybe pivot the strategy and try something else. And I'm not like a typical gamer. I don't have like video game systems. I was never into that, but I'm really into puzzles. And that's just how my brain works. Because for some reason, when I do puzzles, I turn off part of my brain and another part turns on. And usually while I'm doing them, it makes me figure out problems I didn't want to focus on, which is weird, I know. But so I play, games like Candy Crush and Homescapes and stuff like that. It's kind of mindless stuff. But when you get to a board that's difficult, you don't try it one time and then go, well, this game sucks. I'm not playing this anymore. No, you keep trying. And sometimes you go, oh, well, I'm going to start the level working at the bottom and see if that makes a difference. Okay, that didn't work. Now I'm going to start at the top of the level and try to match all my stuff. And you just keep trying different strategies until one pays off. And then once it pays off, you go to the next one. And if you come across a board that's similar, you go, oh, wait a minute. I remember this. I had to start in the bottom left-hand corner. And so you try it again, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm just saying that with businesses online and e-commerce, blogging, it's almost like playing a video game. Like you're constantly trying things from new angles and seeing what the success is or what the failure is, trying to get to that next level. So really what I want to accomplish with this video is I want everyone out there to have a little pep talk. You know, having an online business, it's great and it gives you a lot of freedom. But at the same token, though, when you don't physically go to a job and interact with people and get a chance to talk out different issues that you're having, it becomes a very lonely place because you don't always have people that understand what you do. unless you talk to other people online. But I'm just saying that in general, it can be a very lonely place. And we all get self conscious and we all have self doubts about our work and what we do. We just have to figure out how to make that work for us and not against us. And I always try to make a plan, stick to the plan, pivot the plan if needed. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay to just take a break. It's okay to ask for help, and it's totally okay just to talk about it. My husband, I love him to death, but I know he's so bored of hearing about my niche site portfolio and what I'm doing. And oh, we got more page views. Oh, I hit an all-time high. He humors me and he listens to me, and I try to talk it out with him, but it doesn't quite work. But I'm just saying, sometimes when you let all those thoughts stay in your head, you give them way more power than they need. But just speaking them out loud, you either hear how ridiculous it is that you're worried about something, or somebody else will tell you, that sounds silly, right? I'm just saying that the talk it out, don't discount that. It really does help. And another thing that we never talk about with mental health is that if we don't keep it in check, it starts out as this little tiny problem and we just keep pushing it in the corner. And we're like, we don't see it. It's a dust bunny, whatever. And then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it starts taking other pieces and it starts growing. And before you know it, that little tiny speck that you threw in the corner, it's now this giant freaking monster in the room. And if we had tackled it while it was still pretty small, we'd probably have better odds of overcoming it. But if we just keep pushing it aside and, I'll deal with this later, it becomes a whole lot bigger of a deal to deal with. And so I'm hoping by getting this out there that this will kind of give everyone a pep talk and to get you thinking about how to kind of deal with this. And let me know, check in with me. Like, what are some of the things that you're struggling with? What are some of those thoughts that are in your head that just kind of prevent you from moving forward? Like, I know right now, I've just hit the 25,000 page view mark, and it makes me nervous because when nobody read my blog, I didn't really care. But now that people read it, I'm like, oh, I'm just a mom, what do I have? Like, I don't have degrees in this. I mean, I do have a culinary degree for my food stuff, but like in personal finance, I'm not a certified financial analyst, or, I don't have this type of experience. But then I realize I got to remind myself, I just got to be a couple steps ahead. I have to be willing to learn and to grow, and then keep going. If 25,000 people have read my blog in a month, and I don't even know 25,000 people, so that's just mind-blowing, really, I must be doing something right. So when I get in these moments, I decide to just stay the course. I'm just going to focus on what I know how to do and keep doing more of it. And I'm not going to tackle bigger things until I'm ready and I'm mentally there. So that's my hope for all of you, is that when you get stuck and your brain just won't keep you going, just stay the course. Just keep publishing, keep looking for keywords, keep researching, keep submerging yourself, and just keep doing what you're doing. I haven't started an email list. I know I should. Everybody tells me I should, but I'm not ready for that. I know it's going to take time, and I know it's new programs to learn and stuff like that. I'm not ready to tackle that right now. So I'm just going to keep focusing on my content and keep going. So anyway, I know this was kind of long, and if you're still with me, that's awesome. But I really felt like this needed to be out there, because part of my plan with YouTube is I want to fill those gaps about what other people are not talking about that I wish I could hear from somebody else. So if you have other things that you wish someone would talk about, drop me a line and hopefully we'll get there. Okay? Have a great day. Please, please, please stay the course.